While my oven preheats to 350 degrees, I'm starting with a large bowl and adding 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 heaped teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, and I'm giving all of that a really good stir. To that, I'm adding 1 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips and stirring them in to make sure they're coated in the flour mixture. To another bowl, I'm adding 1 stick of butter and half a cup of coconut oil and warming that in the microwave until everyone is nice and melted. As you can see, some of my butter didn't fully melt, so I'm gonna swish it around in the warm butter and coconut oil until she gives and joins her friends. Next up, I'm adding 6 large, super ripe bananas to our melted situation. Ripe, riper. Ripe, riper. I bet the super ripe bananas are pretty much alcohol by now because they are ripe. What are your thoughts? With a fork, I'm mashing the bananas and combining them with the melted butter and coconut oil. This can be as smooth or as chunky as you like. I myself like it somewhere in between. To that, I'm adding 2 cups of loose brown sugar and mixing that in really well. Next up is one of my favorite ingredients in every timeline, and that's pure vanilla extract. I'm hitting this mixture with 2 teaspoons and mixing up the crew. A little taste test, and I am super happy because this guy is sweet and good to go. As you were, batter, as you were. With my taste test out of the way, I'm adding 2 large eggs and mixing them until well combined. And now for the final and fun step, the union. I'm adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and creating a super lovely marriage. I'm folding everything together because I don't want to overmix and take the air out of the batter. Also, a few small areas of dry or drier batter seriously won't hurt anything. With the mixing out of the way, I'm grabbing my 2 loaf pans and spreading some coconut oil in each one to keep the bread from sticking. Literally, nobody wants that. I'm dividing my batter as evenly as I can between the 2 loaf pans, smoothing out the top ever so gently, and adding the rest of my chocolate chips. Each loaf is gonna get half a cup of these mini cuties, and then I'll carefully give them a tiny press to keep them in place. I mean, that's a mega amount of mini chips. I can't even wait. These guys are gonna cook for 45 to 60 minutes at 350 degrees or until I stick a toothpick in the center and it comes out mostly clean. I like to undercook mine ever so slightly because I don't want it to dry out. Plus, it'll keep cooking for a little while once I take it out of the oven because it's still so hot, so I am safe. My time is up, and seriously, they're gonna cool on the counter for 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'll carefully run a knife along the edges to make sure no one is sticking and transfer them to a cooling rack for about another 30 minutes. Look at how chocolatey my hand is. That's legit. This banana bread is so chocolatey, super moist, and loaded with tons of flavor. It is seriously the ultimate. To store these guys, I wrap them in plastic wrap and make sure they're completely covered before I put them in the fridge so they don't dry out. These guys will be good for up to 1 week, maybe even a little longer if stored properly. When I'm ready for a little indulgence, I place a piece on a plate, microwave it for 15 to 30 seconds depending on how thick the piece is, and it is super perfection. Look at how the bread sticks to my fingers. The true sign of a moist bread. I'm in love. I'm grabbing my chocolatey banana bread and my tea, and off I go to live my best life.